For those with good taste.
That's crazy. What is up, tasties and tastettes? Welcome back to another movie review with your boys from FTWGT. It's Lenny.
It's Dante.
And it's D-Ray.
This week we're talking Transformers 1. And if you want to talk more about other movies, make sure to do what, guys?
Like, comment,
Share,
share, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe.
A little goes a lot. That's what Dante told me.
That's what I try to tell them, you know?
And yeah, Transformers 1, guys. Piggyback off a conversation from last week, Dante, shall we?
Wait, what was the conversation last week?
Well, we were talking box office last week.
Oh, I didn't even look at box office.
And we were talking that it was projected to do somewhere around like 30 to 35 million, correct? And you were like, it might even do more than that.
Now, were you thinking that was for opening weekend or for totality?
Opening weekend.
Okay.
Opening weekend. And that was the projected box office. And Dante was like, this is going to be the biggest movie of the year.
I did not say that. You can run back the episode, give us another view.
Please
I did
do
not
that.
say that.
Make sure to drop a like on it.
So I got numbers here.
I do too.
And what did you think? You thought it was going to do about 30 to 35?
I was saying it could go under, but then Dante actually convinced me because he was so like, he was just like, dude, biggest movie of the year.
I did not say biggest
kids
movie
might
of the
see
year.
it. Adults are gonna see it. He was like, fucking everyone's seeing this movie. It was the most. Honestly, Dave, you haven't seen it. Might be the most passionate I've seen him on any topic we've talked about.
Damn.
Hell yeah. And honestly, I saw, when did I see that? I saw a movie on Saturday. Didn't know any of these numbers. And obviously, I wasn't privy to your conversation last week yet. I would have shared in Dante's sentiment from seeing what my theater looked like on a 10:30 a.m. screening of this.
What day of the week?
Well, Saturday.
I'm surprised more people. Well, yeah, more people would go to that.
Yeah. Still, it was probably one of the earlier movies that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was like, all right, cool. Let me just get in, get out. There won't be anybody here. 10:30 a.m. I'll be awake. But no, jam-packed.
Damn. It's like when you go to California and try to go to an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah. Didn't do that, though. Not a fan.
Interesting.
That's a
analogy, but okay.
that's a conversation for another day. Though.
Interestingly enough, this little fun fact, while the box office has praised Transformers 1, the box office data also shows some potential issues. Only 24% of the audience was the ages of 18 to 24, which was key in the past for Transformers films. This compares to last year's film, Spider-Man Across the Universe, which had 40% of its viewership be between the ages of 18 and 24.
So then what was the majority of the demographic?
I don't have that.
Ah.
But if I had to guess, it's kids and then it's people like
Us.
our age.
Yeah.
My theater was, I would say, 80% children
Really?
who
Because
did
watching
not
this,
shut
I
up
didn't
throughout
feel
the
like it
entire
was
movie.
a movie for little kids.
I disagree in the sense that I got real like Saturday morning cartoon vibes out of this.
Yeah.
I actually, okay, so I got a similar vibe, but I was thinking more like Cartoon Network Toonami.
No, I was just talking like WB, right, playing right after Yu-Gi-Oh or some shit.
Yeah, similar.
Like I don't know, I think that appeals to our age, but it still is like kids. I think kids are gonna definitely be into this.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the first Transformers movie, does not feature any humans.
Yeah. I like that.
That's a merchandising conglomerate, dude. Make a ton of money off of that. All just toys, different toys. What did you guys think of Chris Hemsworth's work in this?
I liked it.
Short of recognizing his voice at the beginning of the movie, I think it just played into the character well enough where I kind of just got lost in the movie and forgot that it was him.
20 minutes in, I had to look up to make sure I was like, he's the main character, right? Because like I didn't think that he sounded a ton like it. And interestingly, he worked with Peter Cullen to develop his voice for the character. Do you know who that is?
I assume the other voice of Optimus Prime.
Yeah, from the like live actions. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
all the other shit. Too, right?
Before my movie, they had like the little like 5 minutes from the cast, so I knew it was Chris Hemsworth the whole time. But I will say, like, maybe 15 minutes into the movie, I already forgot Like,
Yeah.
it was easy to forget it was him.
Yeah, well, one, he did kind of mask it
They said
pretty well.
I read a thing that said he made an effort to not use his normal speaking voice, whereas like Keegan Michael Key or whatever, right, was
Basically, it was his own
he
voice.
he intended
Same
like,
with
they,
Scarlett Johansson.
they told him to basically just don't try to hide the
Yeah.
fact that you with, but with Hemsworth they like specifically worked on his voice not sounding as much like him.
He didn't want to pull a Chris Pratt.
And just turn like everybody's like you're misappropriating robots.
Or
You're not robot enough to play this robot.
who's
Should have been played by a cyborg.
who's the guy
Why
that
didn't
does
AI take this role?
who's the guy that does Archer and like Bob's Burgers, who just uses his own regular voice for every character he plays?
I have no Rob Riggle.
Sure, that's not.
Feels like it could be Rob Riggle. Okay, so we liked Chris Pratt. ScarJo, interestingly,
We do not like Chris Pratt.
Yeah, okay. I did. I like that he misappropriated that Italian man. No, it's whatever movie we're talking about.
Chris Hemsworth.
Thank you. Do you guys remember the last animated movie that Scarlett Johansson starred in?
That Sing
No.
too.
No. You mean Sing Sing?
I don't know if she was in that one.
It's a
No.
hilarious joke.
No, no, she wasn't.
No, okay, any other guesses?
I actually have no guesses.
Uh,
I assume it was a long time ago for you to bring this up.
no, because Sing 2 wasn't all that long ago.
Oh, she was in that?
Yeah.
Because that was like 3-4 years ago?
Probably, yeah. I don't know if she was in Sing 2. She was definitely in Sing 1. I don't think I saw the second one. I did see the second one. She
I
was
actually
in
have
it.
to re-ask my question because it's not the last time she did an animated movie.
Well, are you talking about Ghost in the Shell?
No, but she did one with Paramount. Sorry, it's the first time she's done one with Paramount since this movie. More specific.
Ah,
That's on my bad.
wow.
That's my end.
This trivia sucks.
Yeah, good point. Good point. No, you've got me. You've got me. But any guesses?
With Paramount, huh?
No idea.
No.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'd love to see her with some sandy cheeks.
She did SpongeBob?
Yeah. 2004's SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie.
Huh.
I assume she was Sandy Cheeks, right? That's her name? Little squirrel.
That's the
Yeah.
squirrel, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was her.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if she can lock
check
down
my
that
stuff,
voice.
guys. You guys have the means.
Because I'm pretty sure
I'm fairly right.
the voice actor of Sandy would have.
I don't think she was big enough.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, what doesn't make sense about that?
She is Sandy Cheeks. They're making a movie. She's in that.
Do you know the last time that ScarJo worked with Michael Bay?
Well, I loved The Island, so.
That's the movie. You're right. Good job, Dave. Also, Lawrence Fishburne. He plays Morpheus again in this movie.
Yep, basically.
That's another bit from last week, Dave, where I just went through the fact that he's the same person in every movie.
ScarJo played a character named Mindy.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It was not Sandy Cheeks.
So this is Lawrence Fishburne's fourth movie, animated movie.
He's
Okay.
made 4 movies now?
Yeah, total,
Damn.
total. Not counting The Matrix. Fourth animated movie. Can you name 2 of the other 3?
You're going to have to, give us some breadcrumbs here, I think.
One is like the Magic School Bus, but not.
Now all I can think is Magic School Bus.
The other has a lot of pizza.
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
TMNT, 2007.
How is that like Magic School Bus?
No, one of them
Different
is
one.
like the Magic School
Oh.
Bus, and the other one has a lot of pizza in it.
Rick and Morty.
No, that's a TV show. These are movies.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I don't know that clue.
Osmosis Jones.
I could see
Okay.
where you were going with that, but yeah, okay.
How else would I I don't know anything about. I don't remember Osmosis Jones anymore.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it when it came out. I just haven't seen it since. So the Magic School Bus thing was the closest thing I got for you.
Just venturing into the human body, I get it.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
What's funny enough is that clue, yeah. There's one episode in Rick and Morty that's basically Osmosis Jones as well. So that's my brain went there,
Okay,
but
so
not thinking about.
we're gonna
Osmosis
give you a
Jones.
point for this one. You got that right.
I don't think Lenny's ever watched Rick and Morty,
Nope.
so that's where
Never seen a second of it.
They transform down into obviously microscopic level, and then they go into a homeless man's body.
Damn, into a homeless man's body.
Yeah.
So this movie's been in development since 2015. And they were trying to expand the Transformers franchise based on the success of which Transformers movie?
Dark Side of the Moon or whatever.
Wrong.
I don't know the names of any of them.
Revenge of the Fallen.
Wrong. See if you
One of
name
the ones
rest of no, I want you to name the rest of them now.
Transformers.
No,
One of the ones
not
with
that one.
what's her name? Megan Fox.
That you've already named those.
Did I? Damn.
Yes.
The one that they decided to cast Mark Wahlberg in. And,
There's
you
two
know,
of those. That's what I need to know the names of,
Oh,
guys.
well, there's a dinosaur one, isn't there?
It's that one, Age of
Okay.
Extinction.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it's been in production since then. So it's Age of Extinction, and is it called The Last Night? I think is the fifth one.
Asking the wrong.
It's about the Knights of the Round Table if they were Transformers.
Knights
I
of
didn't
Ren?
watch that one.
It's the most hated, but I like
Yeah.
it better than Age of Extinction, I think. Personally. Just me personally.
I guess kind of before we get into the review, I mean, we're talking about it right now. How did you like this new movie? Like,
The animated one?
yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I am very high on it.
Yeah.
do you think this is the best Transformers movie?
No.
Like, what was the last one?
Okay,
we watched?
well,
like
like,
Rise of the Beast or whatever.
I guess
That one was really good, but
quality wise, like potentially like start to finish, it feels like it might be the best made, but that's also like you have to take into the fact that it's animated. But personal enjoyment wise, I think I've enjoyed other ones more.
I think I was most locked in on the story of this one more than the other ones.
Okay, yeah.
I think far and away that my personal opinion is that it's the best Transformers, and critic scoring would also.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Agree.
I'm pretty sure critically it's getting, that's why people are surprised it's not performing as well, because critically it's doing really well. But I don't, that doesn't always mean audience stuff, because I think that like there's audience enjoyment for the first Transformers movie with Shia LaBeouf is significantly higher. I also feel like some of the more recent ones from a quality standpoint, like Bumblebee is really, really good. Rise of the Beast was a surprise to me that I thought it was going to be really bad and it ended up being decent. I didn't like Dark Side of the Moon, honestly, is my favorite one. Or Dark of the Moon. I always call it the wrong name for being my favorite. But yeah, Dark of the Moon is my favorite, probably my favorite one. And that's like a hot take. I know nobody out there agrees with that. And rightfully so. It's not great, but I just enjoy it. I like me some screaming Shia LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
So, do you know what the score is currently for Transformers 1?
Like the Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
86%.
Currently at 88. And then do you know what the next Transformers movie is after that?
Probably, well, so it's probably Bumblebee and it's probably like 76%.
Actually, so Bumblebee's going to be tough because I don't have it on my list right here.
So you're talking the main 5 Transformers movies?
Well,
then it would be Transformers and it's got to be like, it's probably like a 60.
the next one down is Transformers the movie, the 1986
Okay, well, I would see
animated one.
You have
At
to be more clear.
At 62.
Wasn't even included.
And then after that is the original Transformers movie from 2007 at 57%.
So I was pretty close on that.
So obviously critically,
This is where I think you have to take like the animated thing. Animated traditionally, just from a Rotten Tomatoes, like a critical standpoint, I think does better than live action can do. With the ability to tell stories in different ways. But this is definitely. Do you guys think that it benefits not having to rely on having humans in it?
Yes.
Like, I think that helps progress the story because, like, you don't have to express things through, like, the robots in, like, the original Transformers movies. After the first one, they turn into more just, like, little ad-libbed, like, comedic lines than they did outside of maybe Optimus. Like, they're all just there for kind of quick one-liners and, like, comedic effect, as opposed to really having developed, like, personalities and their own, like, desires and wants. And I think that's what this movie is able to do. Is you're able to at a more human level, like, believe in the characters that are the Transformers.
Yeah, the entire movie was about them and their backstory and their origin story, whereas obviously these live action movies are more so about your Shia LaBeouf characters, your Mark Wahlberg characters, and it's all about how they operate like trying to save Earth with the help of the Transformers.
Yeah, I think that this is the first time for me that like I left the movie for a Transformers movie, and it's not like, hey, I'm excited for the next one, but I'm excited because I want to see like you're going mostly for the special effects and everything with those. Like those Transformers movies are still mind blowing in terms of what they were able to do in 2007 with special effects, let alone what you can do now currently. But you're never leaving being like, I'm excited to see where the story goes. You know, it's always kind of convoluted by the end, and it's like Optimus doing the speech about like, we're grateful for the humans, but
Yeah.
we'll be here if another thing comes to try and take them out.
It's a
Like
great
the
Optimus voice.
thank
They
you.
should cast you for the
Yeah,
next one.
they have that's the end of all 5 movies, right? Is Linkin Park playing while Optimus
Yeah.
synopsis the movie. Whereas this is the first time I think I left one and I was like, wow, they told like a really good story with this movie. And I'm
Yeah.
excited because it ends with like a it's a total story, start to finish, but like leaves that thing for like what's next because you've watched the 5 live actions. So
Yeah.
you're at the point where you were starting with the other ones essentially that now, but you've told it in a better way. So I think you're more excited to see where the story progresses.
I think a large part of it too is it being an origin story kind of gave me a lot more intrigue as I was invested into seeing like how they build towards the Transformers I know.
I didn't know anything really about this. I'd seen like the trailer a couple times and quite frankly, like I thought the trailer was bad. Like I didn't really enjoy the trailer that much. I thought everything looked a little I think it looked Saturday cartoony in like a bad way because when I saw the trailer because it's like do I really want that from like a large scale movie? I think I read this cost like 100 million to make. Like for a budget like that. I was a little concerned, but then as it's playing out, I appreciate it that it's like fun and kind of it plays to kids really well. But then when you're watching the story progress as like an adult, you're like, oh, this also has like all of this background stuff that like I'm more aware of, and I'm not just here because there were like I sat in a row and I had a mother with 2 kids with me, and I was just listening to them like they were talking kind of loud throughout the movie because like things would happen and like they'd lean over to their mom and like say something and like they were super excited with like everything happening in the movie. Like they were really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with your sentiment. Like I don't know if I ever fully watched the trailer to understand what it was, other than knowing that it's an origin story of Optimus Prime and the Autobots or
Mhm.
Transformers. Um, to your point where you thought it was kind of like Saturday morning cartoonish in a bad way, I was going into this movie kind of not already liking some of the artistic style that they were going with, how every single Transformer basically had a human face. And I
Mhm.
thought it was kind of weird thinking about like the Transformer live action movies that we got, where it's everything is incredibly mechanical and like you can obviously see their faces,
Yeah.
but it's not a human level
Also, like
face.
the intricacies because of wanting to show off what they could do with the tech in the live action with like all the gears moving
Yeah.
while they're like transforming and like going basically inside of them while they're transforming. Yeah, it's not nearly as like intricate with this one.
Right. But I definitely think they leaned more on what they did previously back in the 80s in the cartoons. And after watching and getting 10, 15 minutes into the movie, I kind of completely stopped looking at it like I did previously going into the movie. And I just kind of ended up watching the movie and paying attention to the characters and everything like that. And I think the human-ish faces work for this because obviously as machines, they still have hopes, emotions, desires, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is portrayed more easily. There, you can see their emotions in their faces as you're going through the movie. And if it was just like all mechanical, then obviously that would be far more difficult to convey to your audience.
Yeah, I think the first I don't know how you guys felt. I do think the first like 20 minutes I was still a little skeptical on it. I was still a little bit cuz like it was scripted in a way that was a little like it's an animated Transformers movie. So it was, just felt a little corny, I feel like for the first like 20 minutes with like the jokes and stuff like that. I was like I don't know how this is going to play out for me. And then it's like little stuff you get your first like action sequence with like the race that
Well,
happens
the
and like
the chase sequence at the
yeah, at the
beginning
very
was pretty
beginning.
good.
Yeah. But I think that's where I kind of started to lock in a little bit, and then obviously that's where the story really starts to like pick up. But because I didn't really know what I was getting into, like not that I didn't know I was in like a true origin story of this. that like as things started to progress that I recognized from the first from the 5 Transformers movies that were happening in this, I was like, oh shit, they're doing this. Like, oh, and like, and if you don't know, like, I didn't know that I was watching, so I knew one was going to turn to Optimus because the color scheme was too
Yeah.
obvious. But like the D16 or whatever, like
Megatron.
yeah, like I didn't know
Yeah.
obviously initially like D16.
I think that's a difference, like going into this and like knowing it's an origin story. I was just like immediately like, oh, that's that character. Can't wait to hear them get their name and like shit like that. And like that payoff at the end was fun.
Yeah, like I think the payoff was great for me, not really knowing that, because like I like Transformers, but like that's not, I don't know the like the deep lore or anything like the
No, I definitely don't
beginning
either.
of it.
So
So
I
like
think that's part of why this was more interesting.
yeah, like because it gives you that, and if you in watching it kind of play out the way it did, I loved it. Like I liked seeing that character turn from like just a super positive, like but like very by the book character who's given everything, and I think you feel justified, and you feel you feel worse about, and it's a good thing. You feel like something for their friendship falling apart, you know.
And I
don't-
feel like in
are
the movies they've hinted at like they
I'll
used
just
to be
put
friends. So
spoilers
like,
in the brackets because I'm just
there's
there's just spoilers, whatever. Like and honestly, I don't know. Like, is it really spoilers if there's been 5 movies that have dictated that? Like,
they used to be boys.
yeah,
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know much going into it, but as soon as like they're on the train and D16 shows up, I kind of just immediately picked up. Said something along the lines of Mega, I think, in that conversation. I was like,
well, he said his favorite.
Yeah, I didn't get into
oh,
that. Yeah,
it was
like
also-
Megatronus Prime, I think.
Yeah, it was his favorite Transformer.
yeah, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
here we go. Optimus Prime and Megatron, but I was like, I was confused as to why that wasn't their names. Like, so because I didn't know that like they would turn into them once they got their cogs or whatever they're called.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
spirits. It's like when a Power Ranger gets his little morphing device.
Dude, I was getting Power Ranger vibes throughout the whole thing.
Yes, yeah, for sure. But, well, it's like the team aspect of it, even the color schemes that they were
Yeah.
going for. I never like it was until like the back, very like towards the end, where I was like, oh, that is just Bumblebee. Okay, like
Yeah,
it just-
no, I got that pretty early on.
yeah,
too.
like, and it doesn't feel like the Bumblebee we've gotten obviously in the movies at all. First of all, it's not playing music for every time it wants to talk.
yeah,
but,
this is
like,
the Bumblebee that can actually speak.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just weird. Yeah,
I as soon as he started speaking in that the trash pit or whatever, and you heard Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you heard his voice, I'm like, oh dude, I was like, that's prime Bumblebee. I was like, all right. I felt like it like just sound just like him, just yapping.
who was it that played Megatron?
Was that Brian Tyree Henry?
That's who I think it was, and that was also why I didn't anticipate him being Megatron. It's like he's like a fun actor, like you know,
Yeah.
like he's not like a traditional bad guy. He's actually like usually like the best friend kind of deal, isn't he?
Yeah, but
I might be confusing him with Lil Rel Howard,
I don't know who that is actually.
the dude from, isn't that the guy from Get Out who's like the best friend who shows up at the end who does like the security job?
Oh, okay.
You
Never
know what I'm
watched Get
talking
Out.
about?
Yeah.
You've never seen
I
Get
see
Out?
the similarities.
Damn.
And we were just talking about Jordan Peele movies.
Yeah,
Mm.
I watched Us.
Okay.
Why didn't you watch Get Out? That's
I
like
just-
segues into a regular podcast, but like
I just never got around to it. I don't know.
interesting.
As I shame you for that, I've also never seen Us or Nope. So I have seen.
I've
Get
never
Out,
seen
though.
Nope, and it was mostly because Us was bad and I didn't like it. So
No.
I haven't trusted that man since Us. Because like, you know what the problem, and again, not to swing us into a whole other podcast, but it's like he started the trope of losing like a pop song, but like slowing down the speeds and stuff like that.
I think that's what locked me in for Us. Honestly,
and
It was-
so
I got 5 on it.
This
right?
was literally
Yeah.
what I was going to say is like that trailer is so fantastic because of using I got 5 on it. And then I saw the movie and was like, I don't like this. And I've never trusted him since. Like, you duped me once, sir. I won't let it happen again.
Shame on you.
Yep. So yeah, the whole like progression and everything. You also have what Steve Buscemi shows up in this.
Starscream, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
One
so
of those guys.
You have him in
Starscream.
this, and then John Hamm.
Who I did not know that he was playing Sentinel Prime
Yeah.
at all.
He was
throughout
really
the movie.
good. I loved how douchebaggy he was when you first meet him after they run the race. Like I thought that was like the perfect level of like politician douchebaggery that like I was like I like this character a lot. And then it made so much sense that he was like the piece of shit who was just like running game behind their back with the enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they first met with him, I was like, oh no, something's off with him.
See, I didn't get those vibes at all until like the veil was like properly lifted.
Yeah, I think
It's just I think after watching so many movies and like movies like this, it's like, all right, I know it's not gonna be happy go lucky the whole time. So the whole time I'm thinking like, all right, where's the twist gonna come in? And it just kind of popped to me at that point. I was like, there's something off about him.
I figured it was one of two things. It was either the way that it played out, or it's something like Jake Gyllenhaal's character, like Mysterio in the Spider-Man movies, where it's like since nobody can actually see what he's doing on Earth, like he's just like fabricating the
He's
stuff
not on
that it's
Earth.
at.
He's on the surface.
Yeah, but okay. So like, but I mean, like
Yeah.
when he goes up the surface, since everything's just relayed via like video messages after he's like returning back from something, like I felt like it was going to be similar to how Mysterio was handled in that, where it was just like everything was like a made up facade that he's just created this image to keep himself as
Mm.
powerful. Like, but I figured it was one way, and it was one of those two things.
Yeah, I didn't know how. I just knew something was off.
with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think from like the first half where they don't have their spirits
Their
to
cogs.
yeah to getting them in the second half, like once they started being able to transform and everything.
I liked it. I think it made you appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, and you got like a vintage like Transformers speech about like the
Oh yeah,
getting-
let's roll out, and everybody's like,
well,
"What?"
there's that. There's like just like the speech that Lawrence Fishburne like gives or whatever, like where he's like giving them the cogs is like very much like a
Yeah.
over the top, convoluted, like
Yeah.
scripted speech,
Overacted
yeah,
type thing. Yeah.
that you would get.
What I found a little weird, sorry, that I guess like based on the original movies with the live actions, like we know that in comparison to like humans, these Transformers are massive, right? The first time they kind of try their transformative powers as they're running away, like I guess we don't know the comparison to like their environment, but all of their transformations, Optimus Prime in his truck, Bumblebee in the car, seemed extremely small, like to their
but
surroundings
You
of the
can't
trees and
compare
stuff.
the scale of Cybertron to Earth. You know what I mean? Like they've built that world
you
around
would
their
never do
size.
that.
So
No.
You would never compare the size of Cybertron to Earth, my friend. Let's be honest.
It just, I don't know, throughout the movie, it just made it look like they were still very, very small.
I think like that's I make fun of, but I do think that like the scale, it's because they're all the same scale. So you don't like, they're all Transformers. So I feel like you don't, although it did feel like Sentinel towered over what you were getting from like the rest
yeah,
of
like
them.
all
Right.
the primes seemed super like massive.
Yeah. But then at the same time, like Optimus, what was his name before he was Optimus?
Orion, I think.
Like, yeah,
Orion
he-
Pax.
He was like Orion Pax, and then he was like that like 13-year-old kid who was on the basketball team and then comes back for like his junior year
Had
or
his
like
growth
or
spurt.
freshman
Yeah.
year and hit a growth spurt. Like he came
Yeah.
back like out of that pit, just like that. Started dunking on
Yeah, it
bitches.
grows up,
Cigars.
his voice drops an octave. Like, yeah.
It would have been great. This guy does come out talking like Optimus from the movies. Yeah, I liked though when they were going down when they did finally transform, the fact that they didn't know how to transform. I thought that was one of the funnier parts of the movie is them like going down the hill with like their bodies in half, trying to like figure out what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
And
At
then
one point, he just turtles his head and you can't figure
you
out how to
can't
get it
see
back out.
anything. Yeah.
I just feel like messing around with like the toys back in the day too. That'd be one
Yeah.
thing that you would always do. You just pop the head in and it would just be a headless Optimus Prime.
And then you'd get frustrated enough that like you couldn't get it back to the way it was. And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just like, I'm not like, you just leave it like that forever. You never come back to it.
My design's better.
Yeah, just fuck this toy. But you get the first taste at that point of D16 like turning into Megatron because he like gets a sense of his power. He's been betrayed by his hero, essentially, or like the thing that like for everybody in that mind they've put their faith in as far as like he's leading us in the right direction and like that he's the last remaining prime. He's the one that we all want to be like, And it's the first taste you get of him kind of sinking into the dark side a little bit. And I think from that point on, like, it's easy to be like, okay, like Orion was like the best character, or maybe you like Bumblebee, maybe people like Scarlett Johansson. But I think like he might be the strongest character for the whole back half of this movie. Is
because
like,
he showed the most progression.
yeah, and like, and I like that it wasn't like a bullshit reason. I think everybody could understand why he like
Yeah.
they justified the character's reasons for wanting the revenge that he seeked. And you the whole time, I think it's like that feeling as an audience member too, and I'm sure like especially for kids, where you're like, I know, like you feel like you like fucked up and like they ruined everything for you, but like that's your best friend. You should
Yeah.
like forgive them, you know, or like you should like go back to the person you were, return to the good side, you know, Anakin.
I
Like
was
it's like
I was
that thing.
also amped up when they met with like the resistance. I forget what they called themselves, and like
Mhm.
you see like Starscream and them for the first time, and I'm like, oh shit, like shit's about to get real.
Yeah. And like that those characters are perfect again, like with the knowledge. This is where it is beneficial that even though those like 5 movies from Michael Bay don't get like the reviews or anything like that, I think that it helps with a movie like this though, because you're informed to a level to know that that whole group is like Starscream is bad. Like
It's like no,
even
that's like
though
those are the Decepticons. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
Megatron's crew.
even though he's being like they're opportunistic and like right now they need to be on this side to get what they want, in the end like you know where this is going with all of those characters. Yeah, like it's almost weird for like the 25 minutes in this movie where you're like, am I rooting for these guys? Like I this doesn't feel normal. Like what's this movie doing? And then it's like, oh, it's getting there. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
get to that point where you know why it's like this right
I mean, so I would also like to just see, I guess, another movie from this to kind of
Yeah.
then balance out, see where like Optimus Prime and Megatron, where their rift like continues to grow apart. Because while you're saying that like they justify his emotions and basically Megatron's drive towards the dark side, um, at the end when they kind of run off and run away, what other motivation, I guess, does he have to continue to be angry? Because at this point now, like your entire populace has now essentially been freed, has been transformed, and you no longer have to do all this heavy burden of like mining for whatever that element that they were looking
So
for.
I mean, I think we know from like the movies and like the shows or whatever that Cybertron eventually does get destroyed. And I feel like there'll probably be a rift from that on deciding how to handle it. So we'll see in Transformers 2.
I also think that it was just like a character shift in general when his eyes changed shades, right? They went red
Yeah.
or whatever, and like it was no longer about like being wronged. At some point, it transforms from just being personal against Sentinel
So now
for
it's just like
lying.
he's power hungry.
Yeah, but to
Yeah.
him feeling like he always like it seemed like since he got the powers, he wanted to be the most powerful. Like he immediately assumed leader in the group when he never wanted to assume it before. Like it seemed like once he got it, and does this at all play into like do they inherit things from that spark that they get, the cog that they get from the previous owner, you know, like traits? And was that a trait that was already in the original mega whatever
Megatronus.
Megatronus versus, you know, Orion gets the Optimus like cog that like is more virtuous, and he gets the what's the thing that they're going after this whole
The
time?
Matrix of Leadership, I
Yeah,
think.
which is the Matrix of Leadership. Is that's one of the is that the second movie? I think Revenge of the Fallen. They're going after the Matrix.
All I remember is the Allspark from the original movies.
Yeah, I think the second one is the Matrix. That one's one that ends in like Egypt with the pyramids getting sucked up by the vacuum cyclone thing.
Oh, all I
Mm.
can remember is
Megan Fox on the bike.
no, the father trying to like run through and hide
Yeah,
in those
yes,
scenes.
yeah. The parents were very funny. Didn't overstay their welcome either, which was good. But yeah, I think that like if we want to talk about where it's going, for one, I think it concerns me that it didn't make that much like as much money as they anticipated in the first week. Because it is very good in like those types of things. You hope though with an animated movie that it has more legs to stay in the box office, but you do have is it Pixar dropping a movie this week? The robot one.
Oh, Wild Robot, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's Pixar, but like you have another competitor in that world dropping this week, so that's kind of makes me nervous too. Because if it has a huge drop, I don't think you end up seeing a second one of these. Even though, like, I think I definitely
Critically,
want
it's
to
great.
see, yeah, where it goes, and critically, it's really good, and maybe there's a way they make it for less money, going forward.
So right now, worldwide, I think it's sitting at $39 million
Yeah,
earned in the box office. And I saw reports that were conflicting, saying that production costs for this ranged from either $74 million to about $147 million.
yeah, and I had just seen 100 million. Is what, so I would say it has to do like 150 million to make it break even,
Yeah,
probably. And so that worries me a little bit because I don't see an outcome where it makes 150 million to justify it.
right.
Now, maybe it still ends up doing really well on streaming and like it sells enough merchandise from like a kid's like toys and kids perspective that you see a reason to bring it back for a second. But I think it would be a shame if you don't get a continuation to this because I would love to see them build to like these things that are coming. Like Cybertron is a thing now, but yeah, what leads to it falling apart? Where's the destruction come from? What brings these two people back together as far as fighting? Like like I think there's still a lot of meat on the bone for that stuff.
I think this is a conversation that we've had a couple times now, but like I don't really foresee them making a lot of money on like the
Toys.
the toys and stuff like that
Yeah.
anymore. Just because I think in today's day and age, man, like most kids are tablet kids. Like you're
Would it
not
have been better if there was some type of video game that accompanying this?
I feel
probably
like that
not.
ship's also sailed.
Unless
Yeah.
like it's a tablet game, then
Yeah, maybe it's a pay to play
yeah.
that they drop for kids on a tablet. I could see a game like this where you play like levels. Do you remember like the Toy Story games
Yeah,
back in the day?
yeah.
And like you do like the RC race car game. Like
Mhm.
you in this you play through some of the story where you do like the race as the two bots and you have to try and finish in like the top 3 or something like that.
I
And
could
then
see
you
them making a
do the
game of it.
train,
Like, I'm not denying that. I
maybe
just
a
don't know
Lego
how
game.
well it would help them.
Yeah, from
But
like
then
a
you got to pay to produce that game too.
sure, and you put yourself further behind
Yeah.
potentially. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think those things are all like clear, like things to worry about as far as where the story progresses. Do you guys want to dig up some Letterboxd reviews real quick?
Sure.
I know I had one really funny one that was just at the very top.
What do our peers think of this movie?
This person, Tim Tam Titus on Letterboxd,
Love it.
gave it 4 stars, but he said, or they, she, maybe Tim could be either. -1 star because this doesn't have Megan Fox in a crop top leaning over the hood of a car. I agree. That's why I docked it a star.
Damn.
It would have been nice if there was like a picture of like Megan Fox on the wall, like maybe a robot version of Megan
Or I was
Fox
gonna say,
leaning over
yeah.
a car. And it's like she's like the dream girl of the universe. That would have been nice. Steve. Okay, we have 4.5 stars from Tarful. It says Steve deserved a better ending. Who's Steve?
Who's Steve?
Who is Steve? I feel like I should know, but I don't. Oh, the dude that they found down in the
the one he
trash
knocks
yard or
the
whatever. Yeah.
Bumblebee's.
the one he knocks the head off of.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
can we just like bring up I think like the best joke in the entire movie?
Mhm.
AA bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That played very well too.
So that was in the IMDb trivia that it was like that was a joke added in because of Keegan
Because
Michael.
Key.
Yeah.
Key, yeah, it being in it. This is 4 stars from Dahaneen. And it says, "What if we kissed on the surface of Cybertron?" I don't know who she's talking to, but
Sounds like a vibe.
yeah. Have you found any?
No.
There's just some that are too long. I like trying to find the one sentence one.
Yeah.
Doomblazer gave it 5 stars. High praise.
Let's go, Dooney.
Me to this movie, quotation marks. You've got the touch. You've got the power. End quotation marks.
Regal
Epic
gave it
review.
5 stars, and they just said, "I aspire to be Badassatron."
True.
Do you think that was a bad name?
I thought it was hilarious. It was meant to be bad.
2.5 stars from just Brian, plain Brian. Okay, so it turns out maybe I don't actually care about Transformers that much. I just liked when Michael Bay used them to create his own fucked up, hyper stylized toy commercials.
I
Alright,
forgot
dude.
they did this throughout the movie too. So we have a 3.5-star review from Marshall, maybe Eminem, saying, "Don't be a glitch. This movie is fun."
I saw that one. Yeah, I don't know what being a glitch means.
Isn't
Bro.
that from like Wreck-It Ralph?
It's a PG-13 movie. It's their way of saying bitch.
Is it from Wreck-It Ralph though?
Is
Oh.
it?
That'd be fun context.
Well, you know, Vanellope Von Sweet is always glitching.
I never watched Wreck-It Ralph.
they
so-
called
Me
it-
neither.
they called
I
it
don't
the
understand
glitch?
the reference.
Okay.
I was really banking on Dante having have seen that.
All right.
No.
So Ram heart symbol. I could hear Chris Hemsworth's voice and as Optimus Prime every time. I disagree.
I highly disagree.
I
Yeah,
disagree. He did a good job.
I think he did.
There is another one that just says, this is from Wild Willow, and the very first part is, Steve, no! Oh my god, I can't fucking believe this. They actually made a good Transformers movie. What the fuck? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point.
Okay.
Okay, did we all, so it sounds like we all agree with that last person. I can't believe they made a good Transformers movie. What the fuck? Question mark, exclamation point.
I agree.
Do we all have ratings and rankings?
Yes.
I give it 3.5 stars.
I also gave it 3.5 stars, and I put it at 19.
I have still not on the stars game, but I did kind of move my list around a little bit and kind of fixed some things. But I have this at 3.
Okay.
All the way up at 3, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
I did move a couple things. I moved Beetlejuice back a little bit, and I moved Twisters back a little bit, and I put Dune back in number 2.
I'm vibing with it, Dave. I'm vibing with it. I put it in at number 9 or 17. Oh, you said 19. I have it at number 17, 3.5 stars. I feel like I've been giving out I just have a lot of 2.5 and 3 stars, and I feel like I need to start giving out more of these like higher scores.
I
So-
originally ranked this as 3 stars, and then when I looked at what else I had at 3 stars, I was like, nah, bumping
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, I jumped mine up a tad. Let us know what you guys ranked it out there. Was this a good Transformers movie or a bad one? How did you react to Steve's death? We all want to know. We didn't even talk about ScarJo, but she was cool.
She's kind of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It was almost too Scarlet, right?
Like the voice was just like her. She didn't really do much, and just I think the character in general was just somebody that was there.
She's gonna end up with Optimus, though. They're gonna have Transformer babies, right?
Opto
Oh.
babies.
Is it established how they have children in this universe?
No.
No,
They're just-
doesn't the
yeah.
Primus just create them?
It's whenever an oil change is needed.
Is that how it works?
Yep.
Okay.
Spraying like wild. How do you think the Transformers babies are made out there? If it is by oil changes, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe on the video.
Even if it's not.
Yeah, either or. A lot's a little.
Heard it both ways.
If you don't think it's an oil change, throw a dislike.
Don't.
Well,
Don't. Until next time, though, we'll be seeing ya.
roll out.
Peace.
For those with good taste.
Yeah, no, that was solid.